in my head, I don't like to say I got canceled because in my head, canceling is like, I'm gone. Like, I've done something so horrible, it's irredeemable, I can't come back from it. I feel like I got a lot of backlash.
I'm your host, Tejar Hullur. I'm here with Jack. Today we have a very special guest. Before we get into it, make sure to like and subscribe. With over 17 million followers across platforms, they are the life hack person on TikTok who's collaborated with Neel deGrasse Tyson.
So the sun is definitely older than the earth, but the water we drink here on earth is older than the sun.
The sun is so big that if it were hollow, you could pour 1 million Earths into it and still have room left over.
And was one of the first 25 TikTok creators on the Creator Fund. We present to you Miss, oh my God, I'm going to butcher your last name. Bella Avila?
Avila. You got it close.
Avila.
You're better than most people say it.
There we go. Or at OnlyJayus across platforms. How are you?
I'm doing really good. How are you guys?
Doing all right.
Yeah,
it's so
great.
strange. I would assume most people would think your name is just Jayus, yeah?
Most people do. Like, even people like friends that I meet, like, it takes them like the second or third time. They're like, your name's Bella? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, where's Jayus come from?
Where does it come from?
It's an Indonesian word for someone so unfunny you can't help but laugh. And I just thought it kind of fit my overall personality really well. And I wanted something like PewDiePie or like, I don't know, like just like a username that's not my actual name.
Where did Only come from?
I followed this one kid. His name's Luna, and on all of the socials, it's only Luna. So I was a big fan of his in high school, so it kind of just came from that.
This podcast is actually around a fact that we saw that the average career of a content creator is around 25 months. You've actually been creating for a little bit. Both of us are going to look up to you because we want to be creators for the rest of our lives.
I mean, I've only been doing this full time for like 23 months. So in 2 months, we'll see if I fall off or not.
You're still there. Yeah. I love that.
Like right at the end of there.
First, we want to just understand like who you are. And we did a little research on you and found that you graduated college with where you're getting a computer science degree at the start, correct?
Yeah.
Right. And then started working at a Best Buy where you got fired, right?
I was working at Best Buy through college to kind of just like pay rent, you know? I needed a job. And then I got on TikTok, and before work or after work, I would just make a video. I'd be in my uniform. Sometimes it'd be like Best Buy related. Sometimes they wouldn't be. And it got to corporate, and corporate was like, no, you cannot do this. Delete the videos or we're going to fire you. And so I deleted the videos, and then they fired me. And then I re-uploaded the videos. And now I see like people like from Best Buy or like Best Buy ads on TikTok. I'm like, that's a little strange.
That's
like
a common thing. Like
TikTok had such a bad stigma in the beginning. Like it was like this unknown, wild thing. And then now like all the brands are hopping on it. They all have their own brand pages and make content.
It's like they could have used me too. Like I could have been like a spokesperson for Best Buy, but no, they fired me. It was weird.
So was your original content about like Best Buy? I mean, like the product you're showing them and things?
No, it was more like I would just do fun facts, but then sometimes I'd be like making fun of like somebody coming in not knowing about computers. Like I'd do like a little skit, nothing like explicit or specifically targeting somebody, but it's just like general retail jokes, you know?
It's so funny. If you made this content like a year later and you're working at Best Buy, like you could have been like a Dylan LeMay or a Malad, like who just makes content specifically about like ice cream at Cold Stone or like Subway. Like it's so weird how that path could have changed.
I'm kind of thankful that didn't happen. I feel like getting fired from Best Buy was the thing that kind of helped me like focus on TikTok, and then I blew up because of it. Like I'm very thankful I got fired from there.
For sure. I mean, those two always talk to me about like how Subway and Cold Stone, they just don't understand what there's like Malad especially had a whole TikTok saying he did $44 million of free advertisements for Subway, right? If you count up the views and everything, and like it's crazy. So I agree with you. But kind of breaking it down, what interested you about TikTok in the beginning while you were working at Best Buy? Like, where did the start of that making those skits?
I had a sister in high school, and so like I kind of heard about it really, really early because she was on it, and she started getting some followers. She had like maybe 10, 15K, and I was like, I can get more than that. And it became a competition between us of who can get more, and it was like back and forth for a while. she was beating me for a long time, and I eventually passed her up.
What was your strategy in the beginning?
The first video I ever made was about my car mod. I did the Rolls Royce roof in my Honda Civic, and it was kind of cool. So I made a TikTok about that, and it got like 90,000 likes, and I was like, oh, this is really cool, because I had a YouTube channel before that only got like 6,000 subscribers, so like that much attention, I really liked it. And so I just kind of kept going, and it started with me doing what people were doing on TikTok at the time, like just the sounds and the trends and like the signs on the chest kind of thing. And then I had some videos do well where I was like talking about how to get college books for cheaper, and then like about Bill Gates. So I was like, oh, people kind of like to know things, and that shot me straight into the educational content.
That's interesting. Gotcha. That's actually the first video I saw of Bella's, because I've been on TikTok for a while as well. The Bill Gates video where it was like spend Bill Gates' money.
Bill fucking Gates is worth $105 billion US. There's this website called Spend Bill Gates' Money, and it says he only has a measly $90 billion, but I guess it'll work for the point I'm trying to make. So there's 32 teams in the NFL, right? You can buy NFL teams on here for $2.3 billion.
And like, you could buy like 44 private jets, like
all the NFL teams plus a Super Bowl ad, because why not? Like all the Rolexes, like 900 Fiat Ferraris, and it's like it didn't make a dent. And I just thought it was really interesting, so I made a video about it. It blew up because people were like spinning it. They were like, oh, like she's a communist. I'm like, I just wanted to show how much money he was spending. Or like, because at the end of the video, it was like, oh, this Bill Gates, and then there's me having to skip a lunch break to save money. But I didn't mean anything by it. I just like, it was just a video. I don't know.
I just made a realization. So this Bill Gates video got 4.3 million views, I think. I looked back at it, and that at that time on TikTok was literally like, it had to have been like one of the top videos of the
It was insane. Like it was all over the news. Like I was showing up on my parents' TV. Like Yahoo was talking about it. Like it got big. I wouldn't be surprised if Bill Gates himself saw the video. Somebody had to have sent it to him.
That's so wild. I did not know it went on like mainstream news sources.
It was the first thing that like blew up.
Yeah.
So you were making content on YouTube before TikTok. What kind of content were you making there?
Like fake storytime videos, like literally just fake storytime videos.
What is storytime?
It's like a category on YouTube where you tell stories about your life, but a consistent thing in this kind of category is you run out of interesting stories to tell, so you start making stuff up. So a lot of the storytime videos are fake storytime videos. I know I faked a lot of my videos.
Really?
Yeah. Like I would tell a story about like how I got into a fight on the bus, but I didn't get into a fight on the bus, but like
and then what, you were just sitting like in a chair and just like looking at a screen at a camera just talking?
I had like overlays of like Call of Duty, and it was just my voice. It was like a commentary type video. They were entertaining, like people had fun with it, but it just didn't really do well for me, and so I stopped when I got to college.
I think like one big question, like what we're really trying to hint at is like when people come talk to you, right? They're like, hey, what do you do? And you're like, oh, I'm a creator. Like, when did that start? Saying like, oh, I'm a creator. Did you say that when you made a YouTube account?
Probably. I think so.
Really?
I was still in high school, but I probably was going around like, guys, I'm so famous. Like I had like 5,000 subscribers. Like I'm just... Yeah. But then I started like really taking it seriously after Best Buy fired me. Like that was when I was like, I could either get another job, be replaceable, or I could try this thing that I have like couple 100,000 followers on. Let's see how it goes. And then 2 weeks after I got fired, I hit 1 million. And so it just got huge from there.
So after Best Buy fired you, just 2 weeks later, you had 1 million followers. How many followers did you have before they fired you?
I was around 200K. So like not a lot, but like at the time it seemed like everything. I was like, I'm so famous. Like,
so you had 800K in 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm. It was insane. And then the month after that, or like about a month after that, 2 million, a month after that, 3 million. Like I grew 1 million a month after that for a while.
Wow.
Just crazy.
So what kind of content were you doing at the time?
It was a lot of just like fun facts in the mirror, in the car. And then I did one video where it was like brain facts that people really liked. And so that kind of turned into psychology tricks, which blew me up to the point where it was like, I think I'm famous now. Like, this is crazy. Psychology tricks that I learned in my general psych class last year that I know work because I use them.
That's kind of what you were known as for like
Psychology
most
girl.
of your career.
People would come up to me like, "Are you psychology girl?" And I'd be like, "No."
I mean,
You're
I bet you're
psychology
relieved.
girl.
I bet you're relieved to have your new series, the Life Hack series, because people kind of know you for the life hacks now.
Yeah, I mean, who I've been has kind of changed. Like, I was at first just the Bill Gates girl. Like, people called me the Bill Gates girl. And then it was psychology girl. And then it was the Google girl. And then now I'm kind of, like, people know me as OnlyJayus. Like, nobody's ever come up like, "You're the life hacks girl." Like, people know, like, my username now, which is cool.
Were you financially, like, making enough when you got fired from Best Buy to, like, I guess rationalize, or I don't know, what's the word, being like, okay, I can do social media. It makes sense.
I had enough savings to where I was like, I'm going to give myself a month and we're going to see how it goes. So I had enough to where I was like, I was comfortable for a month, but at the end of the month, I was like, I'm going to have to get a job. But it was easier for me just because while going to college, I was also kind of like in extended foster care. And so I got free education. I didn't have to pay for anything. I don't have any student debt. So that helped like a lot.
Yeah, that's cool. I like setting that deadline of like giving yourself a month. I was actually just talking to Samir from Khan and Samir, and he was telling me a story of like back in January, they only had $2,000 left in their bank account, right? And they were really looking at potentially getting jobs. And he said at that moment when you're like there, you not many people can have that radical focus in just trying to create, right? So giving yourself like a month, you're like, here, I have enough savings for that. Like that probably was single-handedly how you got 1 million followers. You said 2 weeks after you got fired, right?
I feel like it was the reason. Like I had so much free time because I wasn't really doing like a 9-to-5 job. Seriously, like just the free time that I had and the focus, because I knew that this is what I wanted to do. Like it was the only thing I wanted to do. It just pushed me to do it. And I know, like, when I first got on TikTok, I saw it kind of getting bigger. And I was like, if I keep posting, I'm just going to grow with the platform. And that was also, like, a lucky thing. I got on super early. It's way harder to get famous now, I feel like.
Yeah. What year was this? Give us, like, just context.
2019. October 2019 is when I started officially. And then, like, COVID is what really blew everybody up.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Everyone's on their phones.
That's interesting. So you said you'd quit your job, had enough savings for a month. But were you able to monetize your TikTok at this point? Because I think what a lot of people don't realize is no brands were really on the platform. It was a bunch of, like scammy brands. Like I think I remember seeing you do like a headphone ad.
The headphones were actually a little bit later, but they were pretty nice. They made me a lot of money. But before that, it was like this watch company that wanted to sponsor me for like $100. It was like crazy, but that was something. And then like there wasn't really any way to make money besides live streams. That was it. Live streams is how I made most of my money. I would go live for a couple hours a day. And I said, if you donated a drama queen, which at the time was like $50, I would write your name on my face in Sharpie. And by the end of these live streams, I was just like covered head to toe in Sharpie, which made me learn sunblock gets Sharpie off skin very quickly.
Oh,
life hack. But yeah, people don't realize that was like the main way you could monetize your TikTok back then. I mean, that was a big reason like I was pushing to get a big following, because I think at that point you retained like 50% of the revenue your live stream brought in.
Yeah.
Now it's closer to like 20-30%. And like they like lowered the amount you can donate. And they've also
that was one thing that was weird. It was like they got rid of the drama queens, and it was like, okay, so I guess if you donate 5 of these $10 ones, I'll still write your name on my face. It got weird after that.
Honestly, yeah.
I love that, saying that in a sentence of like, oh, yeah, like, what are you doing today? It's like, oh, I'm just telling some people to donate drama queen so I can write their name on my face with Sharpie. It's
exactly.
Like, what type of world are you living in?
I'd like walk out of my room just covered in Sharpie, and my roommates are like, how much money did you make today? I'm like, you don't even want to know because it's going to piss you off.
They're like counting the names on your skin.
That's so crazy. How did you, I guess in the beginning here, it seems like you're very apt to understand what like would go viral and what does well on social media. Is there any like influences or like people, I guess like how did you know that in the beginning? Like I can, even from your content today, it might be so subconsciously of like, you optimize it so well for social media, right? Like I if you pop up my For You page, right, I'm watching it. Like it's so attention grabbing, and you keep my attention, right? Even in the beginning, like you're talking, and even that idea of just writing people's name on your face with Sharpie, right? Where do you get these ideas? What's the inspiration for all this?
With the Sharpie thing, I saw people going live and they would like, if somebody donate, they'd have a whiteboard behind them and they'd write their name. And I'm like, that's cool and all, but like, I want, like, I just wanted something like a little bit more. So that's why I was like, I'm going to write it on my face. Like, it kind of got more attention. And then with my videos, I'm very loud. I talk very fast. And I feel like that kind of helps get your attention, and then the topic I'm talking about can kind of hold the attention. But I've done all sorts of stuff to try and like get views. Like I had a series called Weird Human Body Facts, where I would tell weird human body facts, but I would walk in the mirror with a random object every time, like a vacuum or just a painting or a clock or like a 15 water bottles. And it didn't make a lot of sense, but it worked. It got tons of views because of it.
So you knew that if you bring in random objects, what people are going to comment about it and stuff like
exactly.
that.
People would be like, okay, like the facts are cool, but why do you have a vacuum? Like,
that's so
it was funny. But just any way to hold people's attention or get comments or get people to share is like what I'm still trying to figure out. But I'm not sure where that started. I want to say it's because I'm in computer science and I like algorithms and I want to always try to figure it out. But like, honestly, I feel like it's a lot of luck with it too.
100%.
So would you say you're like pretty analytical?
100%. I'm like since day one, I've always been looking at the analytics, trying to figure out, okay, what did well in this one? I would go through comments of certain videos and like see what people are commenting about the most and then try to replicate that in my next video and like just constantly try to get bigger and bigger with it.
And this was even back in like, I know you were studying computer science, even 2019 when, for example, let's take the Bill Gates video, right? Like there were so many different ways you could have gone about that video of like, but I feel like you told it in a way that was so just like, again, optimized for short form, right? You could have gone in and been like, hey, everyone, like Bill Gates has $99 billion. And like, it's kind of crazy how much, and like so many people would just swipe, right? But the way that you presented it was so like, I guess that's part of the, I think when looking at your content, that's what really sticks out to me, right? You're able to take like mundane facts that people may know, may not know, or just like, and put it in an interesting way. Yeah. And I think that's really interesting. And
thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course.
It's obviously pretty interesting. I mean, it's got you to 4 million followers now.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's like it doesn't. Still can't wrap my head around that number. I don't think I ever will. That's like a lot. That's a lot of people. That's like multiple cities. Like LA only has like 4 million, and I'm walking around. I'm like, this is kind of weird.
Yep. I think you have the population of New York, LA, and Chicago probably combined. I think New York's like 8 million, LA's like 4, and Chicago's 3.
See, that doesn't even feel real because like a lot, like not so much anymore, but like when I was like blowing up with like 5 million, 6 million, I was like, I'd make a video and I'm like, do I want millions of people to see this? And I'm like, and I post it. Like, it didn't really click to me that millions of people are going to watch this video.
So kind of moving on here. I know you've had some success in the past few months, and obviously you found a niche that worked well, but getting into the nitty gritty, and I think this is like one of the interesting things that we really wanted to talk to you about is a couple months ago, right? Yeah. You had an unfortunate event, right? Where the Gen Zers like to call it, saying that you got canceled. I guess like, I'm in an interesting position where I don't really know the whole story. And I wonder, like, just in your perspective, could you like tell us what like happened? Yeah.
Okay. So in my head, I don't like to say I got canceled because in my head, canceling is like, I'm gone. Like I've done something so horrible. It's irredeemable. I can't come back from it. I feel like I got a lot of backlash, just a lot of backlash. And for people that don't know the story, 6 years ago, I was like 16, 17 years old. I got into an argument with somebody online. It was really toxic. They were saying toxic things to me. I was saying toxic things to them. For some reason, I don't know, I said the N-word. I said awful shit, added in, but I also used a racial slur and kind of forgot about it until like when I was around like 6 or 7 million, this kid that I had an argument with reached back out to me and he's like, hey, you should delete these messages. And there was like no messages. I had deleted the chat. And I was like, I'm not sure what you're talking about. And so he sent me the screenshots of what I said. And I was like, holy shit, like that. Whoa. Like, what the fuck? I said those things. I was like crazy. And I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. Like, I apologized to him. He apologized for the things he said. And he's like, yeah, I just wanted to let you know because like everybody's getting canceled nowadays. And I thought we moved on. Like, I apologized to this person that I said these awful things to. But around when I hit 10 million in January, February, this person decided to send those screenshots to several TikTokers who then leaked it, and it just blew the fuck up from there because I've worked a lot on myself, and I'd like to be this person that I'm accepting of everybody. I've tried to just be really chill and cool, and I support a lot of things. And so I think it was like really shocking for TikTok and the internet to see that I used to be this shitty fucking person. And that's why it blew up. And I really wanted to apologize that first day that it came out, but I was being held back from my management. Viral Nation used to work with them, and they were trying to hold on to all my brand deals. So like, don't talk about it. Don't say anything until it gets bigger. And I'm like, guys, it's bigger right now. Like, I'm losing hundreds of thousands of followers as we speak. Like, I need to say something. And I wrote an apology. They didn't like it. I wrote another apology. They edited it. I wrote another apology. They kept like fixing it. I would record the apology. They'd make me re-record it. I'd record it again. They made me re-record it.
Okay.
I really wanted to do it in the way that it was like how I usually talk to my audience, like in the mirror talking just normal. But they're like, no, this is a very serious thing. You have to set it up on a tripod, like the apology videos on YouTube. And I'm like, it was very edited, and I hate watching the apology video, even though like everything that I'm saying is true. Like the words is what I mean, just the way that it was and the mindset that I was in. It's really hard watching it now.
Got you. So like, how crafted would you say that video was? Because like, you wanted to do something that was a little more like genuine to your brand. But like,
it was completely crafted. Like, management really fucked me over, and I regret listening to them. But I had never been through anything like that. I did not know what to do. I wasn't sleeping. Jack, you kind of know a little bit about my insomnia. I was not in the state to make my own decisions, so I was kind of just listening to everything they were saying. And in hindsight, that was the worst thing I could have done. As soon as it came out, I should have just pulled up the camera and apologized without all the other shit that was happening.
Which is crazy because like a part of, I'm assuming, management, like they have people who work on crisis management, right? It's like they probably have a whole team and like PR for that. And
they hired PR specifically to work with me, so I was this person's first job ever, and it did not go well. Like, as soon as I posted the video and the reaction was awful, like it just was awful, the PR person stopped responding to me.
Holy wow.
They didn't help after at all. Like, there was nothing to help me try and get like start working with these Black creators that I promised to. They didn't help me make connections. They didn't help me with anything afterwards. It was like, you posted the video, you lost your sponsorships. Oh well, okay, we're gonna just ignore it for now. Just don't talk about it ever again. It's really hard.
That's so wild. I guess I'm a little in the story. This person that leaked the conversation, so they contacted you before.
They contacted me before.
Yeah, saying like, oh, you should delete these. You already had them deleted because you had no idea.
Yeah,
right?
I didn't know who this person was. I didn't remember sending it. They're actually a TikToker too, but they didn't post it themselves. They sent it to other people because they didn't want their name in it, because they went and deleted everything that they said and just screenshotted what I said. So it looks like this big block of like me just yelling at this person, but they're not seeing what they're saying. So I did an IG data backup to like figure out what the fuck he said, and it was like just as toxic as I was saying, but I never leaked that shit because we were minors. We were kids at the time when we were saying these things.
So something that's interesting too is like some context on like maybe why this person would have sent this to TikTokers. So at the time, you were growing rapidly. You were trying to hit 10 million followers before the end of the year. And then you were also like in a bit of controversy surrounding like some advocacy you were doing against like sexual assault. Yeah.
I feel like I've always had drama around me. It's insane. Like, I never try to, but like it just somehow like there's always drama. So around this time, I made a video talking about, what was it? This was so long ago. I made a video talking about how when women talk about their experience, like negative experiences with men, like sexual assault, abuse, all that, it doesn't help the conversation for men to be like, oh, well, it's not all men. That was the point. It was like, it doesn't help the conversation to say all men, because nobody ever means all men. Women know not all men are bad, but when we talk about it, it's not productive to the conversation to be like, oh, well, no, all men. And that got a lot of support for the first like week. It got over 1 million likes. It did really good, but then it got onto the boys TikTok,
Of course.
And it completely switched. It was like, oh, she's a misandrist. She hates men. She supports kill all men, which is things that I've never said. Not at all. I don't like.
Yeah.
I'm a huge supporter of men's rights too. But like at this specific video, I was just talking about this because I had a negative experience with some guys, and when I went to tell another guy friend about it, he was like, "Well, not all men are like that," and it just like it triggered something in me. I'm like, that doesn't help though. Like, I didn't say all men. I just said these guys.
Yeah.
It's interesting when you put yourself in like a position of advocacy or get in any sort of controversy. It's like you almost have a target on your head. And like over the past couple of months, I mean, you've seen that. It's like every single thing that you've done has been like scrutinized, reevaluated. I'm sure people have gone through every single one of your videos trying to find the next thing to cancel you for because your name's hot, you know?
Anytime anybody makes a video talking bad about me, it blows up. Like there's a group on TikTok that doesn't like me and they very strong with that. It's interesting to watch, but
it's crazy because it's like they're incentivized in a sense to do that because it's views at the end of the day. And honestly, like I don't know how they can monetize that or what. Like maybe they just like the attention because again,
it's the views,
the
it's
likes,
the attention. Sometimes they're a part of the creative fund. It gets that, but like it's really just getting the attention. They get followers from it. Like people have built entire platforms based on just hating other people and like exposing other people. That's
crazy. I mean, I wonder like a big part. Whenever I think of these situations, like groupthink, I think just drives 95% of the extent of this, right? It's like when looking at some of the comments you got, I'm wondering like how easy it is for someone to just click the like button, right, for one of those comments, even if they don't themselves think that, right? And then all of a sudden you see a comment in like your comment section that has like 15,000 likes and you're like, oh, everyone must be thinking this. So like this is what the answer is, right? Like it spirals. It spirals.
It really gets to your head being on the other side of the screen, reading all these things about you that people think about you. And it's like, for a while, I really wanted to try my hardest to get everybody to like me. That was like the number one thing in my head. It's like, I want to try and respond to these people that are talking bad about me in comments. I want to try and reason with them. I want to make everybody like me. But it got to the point where I couldn't do that with millions of people. I had to just finally accept not everybody's going to like me. There's going to be this group of people that no matter what I do, they're going to hate it. But I just have to keep remembering that there's this like much bigger group of people that will support me. They do like me. They love my content. And I try to focus on that now when before it was like, it was really taking over my life, how much hate there was.
Dang. And like, how did that affect like what you were doing? I know there was a point where you didn't post on TikTok for a bit following the apology videos. But like, were you making content? Were you like, what were you doing at this point in time?
The 2 weeks that I took off was really filled with just like, trying to figure out mainly how I can come back from this because I knew I couldn't just be like fun facts like in the mirror the first video coming back. I was like really thinking hard of how to come back. I was trying to find any POC creator that would talk to me that would be willing to kind of like be on my platform because like I promised to work with these Black creators because I had a list of people that said they would, but then when the apology video came out and it was a negative reaction, nobody wanted to be associated with me anymore. So I made this promise thinking that I could do it, and then it took a lot longer than I thought to do it. So most of that time was spent trying to make connections with people. It didn't go well, but it was mostly just trying to figure out how to come back and making connections to keep that promise.
Great, that makes sense. I know you said, I kind of want to like, if you could give advice back to yourself in this time, right? I know one thing is like, I just wish that I didn't let management influence my apology, right? Is there anything like even like, in that moment, right, when things were just going to shit, right? Is there anything you would like, if you could say something to yourself back then? Is there anything you would?
I would tell myself not to read the comments as much as I did because I would spend like days awake just going through comments, reading all my mentions, watching all the videos people were making about me. I wish I wouldn't have done that. Like I should have just ignored it how I ignore it now. And I wish I would have just taken better care of myself. It was not the best moment, but I don't think I would have changed anything I really did besides that because I like the spot that I'm in now. I'm doing a lot better now.
That's good.
And I feel like if I changed anything, I might not be in this situation that I'm in now that I really like.
Yeah. Wild. Such a. I mean, it's scary because like, we all have skeletons in our past. We all have like these things that are like, and we never know when one of these can come up. And especially, I always say one of the most interesting things about like what we all do is there's no precedence, right? There hasn't been social media creators 10 years ago. We're all kind of figuring this out, pioneering it all together.
That's kind of what I said when things were going on. I was like, there's no handbook on how to handle this. Like, especially with TikTok. Like, there's YouTubers that have been in scandals. That's kind of all we really have to base ourselves on. But like in terms of TikTok, nobody really knows what they're doing. Like, we're slowly starting to figure it out, but like nobody knows what we're doing. Not
really. And even like YouTubers, I feel like that would try to talk to this new generation. I know what we're doing is almost so different, right? The relationships that we're creating with our fan base is a lot different than I think what like YouTubers who post once a week, once every 2 weeks that are creating like these professional stories. Like, there's so many of these people, right? Jack and I, we always talk about the idea of like a parasocial relationship, right? In the sense, like, are you familiar with the term?
No, can you explain?
No. Yeah, it's this idea of the media creates this like illusion of intimacy with you and the creator. So like your brain can't tell. Let's just say you're watching Jimmy Fallon, right, online, and you just watch him every single day on TV. Your brain at one point can't distinguish if it's someone on TV or someone sitting on the couch next to you, like as if your friend. And like that's what a lot of these people on TikTok are capitalizing on.
I feel I remember hearing a lot about that, but more connected to like children's advertising. It's like kids don't know when it's like Jake Paul just talking about shit, or if it's Jake Paul selling you something. They can't differentiate between that.
For sure. I mean, very practical example. Yesterday when I saw Charlie, like I didn't know what to say. I was just like, I know literally everything about this girl. Like I mean, I've been following for the last year. She knows nothing about me, and so like I was just like, hi Charlie, and she's like, hi, and I was like, I literally don't know where to like where do I'm like, I'm not gonna ask her like what do you do or like how's your day going, right? It's
like what do you say to somebody like that you know everything about, but like they don't know you.
Well, exactly, right? And I mean, connecting this back, it's just there really is. I mean, I have a lot of respect for you to like even wanting to come back. I think like, you don't get enough credit for like, this is probably one of the. You just went through one of the toughest things I think anyone could have ever gone through. Like, period.
At least on TikTok, I can't even think of anybody that's gotten canceled the way that, or like backlash the way that I got backlash. Like I was trying to find somebody, so it's like, what do I do? Like I just need somebody. I need to base this off of somebody, but I couldn't. I feel like I was the first of the long list of people that are going to get canceled.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was like after your apology set of videos, or you did 3 apology videos, or 1?
I did 2. Because I wanted to, this was before you could upload more than a minute. Yeah. I could not get what I wanted to say in the 1 minute. So I did 2 parts, which again, I feel like I should have somehow made it into one. Or what I wanted to do originally was a YouTube video, and they're like, no, that's too long. You just need to make this short and quick. I wanted to make it into like a full YouTube video, address all the questions.
Better.
It would have been so much better. That's like, right? Like,
but what I was going to say is, so basically you kind of set this precedent of like a format in which people could apologize for being canceled, which is interesting. Like I think Anna Shimade used your format, Polo Boy, Marco Borghi, Sienna May used the same format of just like a high
and it's
quality
not a
camera,
good format. It definitely like I could have done better. Like I know what I could have done to made that better, and I just didn't. So it's weird knowing that it's happening.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's just like, I'm not wishing this upon anyone, but again, we all have skeletons, right? Like we've done past. Something comes up again. Do we? I mean, knowing what you know now, if you had to make another apology video, right? Are you almost just destined for failure with it? Like, how much can you really do in an apology video versus someone, like, you can have the best apology, someone just comments, like, nah, fuck you. And then, what, you get 100,000 likes on, or that comment gets 100,000 likes and your entire apology just goes to waste.
It's like a breakup. There's no good way to do it. There are better ways to do it, but
there are better ways to do it. And I've seen people apologize for things, and people forgive them. They're like, it's fine. Like, I appreciate the apology. And there's ways to do it.
Yeah.
If I ever had to apologize again, depending on what it was, I would make it a little bit longer, have an actual conversation with people. Like, I keep having this idea of like just going on Twitch and be like, ask me anything. I'll answer any question, anything's on the table. Like, I feel like that would
That's
just
really
like
cool.
it'd be better than something scripted.
Have you
Scripted.
considered doing that today? Because I mean, I'm sure you still face a lot of backlash actively for this.
It's something that I considered for a while, but I'm at the point where I really don't get hate anymore. Like, it pops up every now and then, but like it's not as bad as it used to be. And like I have my fan base that likes me, and I'd rather not bring it all back up if I don't have to. I still want to continue to work with Black creators and like educate myself and my fan base and just like continue to be better, but like I don't think I want to be like, let's bring up that situation again, because then it's just, I feel like it's just going to restart everything.
It's crazy because it's almost like you've had a completely new fan base over the past couple months. Like, you went from like 10 million followers down to 8 million followers, and then
I went
back up to
I went to 10 point. I was at 10.4 and I dropped down to 8.9, and then
8.9.
And then I started like posting again, and I got to like 9.5-ish, and then I had a series blow up, and it's been pretty good since then. So I kind of have a newer fan base because I've been doing different types of content. I don't do like, I still do fun facts, but I don't do as much like just straight fun facts in the mirror anymore. I do more like life hacks, body hacks. I try to pick a topic now and then talk about that one topic in the mirror versus like 3 quick short things. I feel like I had to change it a little bit. Be more mature. I don't come in with vacuums in the mirror anymore.
Yeah.
So you said you lost around 800,000 followers like after you got canceled. So like, were there any other effects like in terms of like brand deals that happened?
The biggest one was I lost my podcast with Netflix. I worked with them for about 3 seasons, and word came out about the N-word scandal stuff, and they fired me as soon as the apology video came out. But then, yeah, I kind of lost like every other sponsorship I had, any long-term sponsorship I had, anything that was just like the one-time thing. I lost everything, which is another part of the reason why I was like considering going back to college and like trying to find a new place to live, and just it affected everything.
And it still affects you to this day, right? I mean, you've told me before how like a brand will reach out to you, like have something set, and then like there's so much press about the event, and like because most brands will do a background check on creators to see if they have any bad press, like as a safety precaution. And like,
so like a couple things happen with that. Like a brand will reach out, we'll have a contract, I'll make the video, I'll post it, and then people will start making videos saying like, oh, or JS is working with this person, go email this company. And then they'll make me take down the video, and half the time they pay me and half the time they don't pay me, even though I did all the work and we had a contract. Sometimes we'll have a deal in the works and then they'll cancel beforehand. And then sometimes with that, I can usually get on a call with them and talk to them. As long as I can have a conversation, usually we can find like a middle ground sort of thing.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times it's because there's certain creators on TikTok that are watching who I'm working with and telling their fans to go email the company.
And I know one time you talked about how like a company made an entire merch line for you and like just like pull it out of the deal for that very same reason.
Oh my god.
That was one of the cases where I got on a call with them, and now we are working together again. We were able to talk it out, and like they didn't really hear my side of it. They kind of just Googled my name and saw everything, and I'm not portrayed the best on like with that stuff. So like once they heard my side and they understood like what actually happened, they were willing to work with me again.
How did you manage to come back after those 2 weeks you took off after that apology video?
I did a couple videos where I was like, hey guys, look, I am trying to educate myself on this. So I'm reading this book, which was How to Be Anti-Racist. It's a really good book. It made a lot of sense with a lot of different things that I already kind of knew now as an adult, but like I just kind of wanted to share it with people. And then a couple of the books like The New Jim Crow and Uncomfortable Conversations with the Black Man, those were all good books as well. The first video that I made when I came back though, was like a morality video. I kind of wanted to question what people would do in certain situations. So like I took an ethics class. So I kind of just made an ethics test, but in video format. And then I went more into like science experiment type of TikToks. Like I did a lot of, it's called Physics Bitch episodes and like different science experiments. And those did really well for a while. And then I was just working with different Black creators, like duetting different people. I worked with Dr. Hojo, did a podcast with him. Just different stuff, I guess. It was... People talk to me now, they're like, your videos like definitely have a different vibe now than they did before your controversy. And I don't think I did anything intentionally with that. It was just kind of subconsciously, like, I changed somehow.
That's so interesting. Well, thank you for sharing that. I mean, it's one of those things it's hard to ask people to, but I think, right, we want to set the precedent, right?
It's such a big part of your story, and you're really the first person that it's like really happened to on TikTok.
It's hard to talk about because like it sucked, and like what I did was really fucking shitty. But it's something I do have to talk about because if I try to hide it, then it just kind of makes it worse. If somebody asks me why I got canceled, I straight up say like I said the N-word, and kind of just go from there. So like, it sucks, but it's something I kind of have to talk about. It felt good talking about it here though. So
good. No, we appreciate it 100%. And your idea of, again, God forbid, but like having a Twitch and then have people ask me anything, that's actually like a really interesting format. And I think that
because people know it's not scripted, you know, like you're doing it live.
I'm live in front of hundreds of people, and like I don't talk the best live. I stutter a little bit, and I'm working on it. But like,
definitely,
it's hard. But I think it's for the better because it makes a better connection with the audience because it is live. I'm talking to you like right now, you know.
Definitely. I guess like this leads into do you consider yourself famous?
I don't like that because I don't consider myself famous, but I know in some ways that I am. Like I'm TikTok famous, which is like the worst kind of famous. The kind of famous nobody gives a shit about.
Yeah. But I guess like outside of, I mean, it being part of like the way you make money, do you like the attention just kind of at a very high level that you get from the world, like being recognized? I know Jack was telling me you went to Six Flags, right?
We've been to some events together, and it's like every 5 minutes. Like Bella was literally in the bathroom, and people were like, "Oh, is that JS? Is that JS?" I'm like, that's weird.
Like one kid would say JS, all of a sudden there's like 5 kids up coming trying to take pictures with me. Like
some of them don't even know like who you are, and they're just like, "Oh, famous person." Like you look familiar.
It kind of depends on where we go, but I like the attention sometimes. Like when a little kid comes up, they're like, "I'm such a huge fan. I really want to take a picture." And they're like, "Mom's like taking a picture with me." Like I like that. That's really cool. That's really cool. Like people my age come up to like, "Your videos are awesome." That's cool. Sometimes it's gotten weird. I've had like my address leaked, and I've had people come to my house and like ask for me, and I've been stopped at different stores, and like people like straight up like yell at me, call me a racist in public. Like it's
oh my god,
it's gotten to the point where like it's weird. But there's not much else I can really do about it.
You had to move, yeah?
I had to move because my address got leaked and people were coming up. So I'm a little bit more, I don't know how that happened, but it sucked. That was another big like thing that was happening in those 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It was like I was trying to find a new place to live.
But
overall, I do like the attention. I like when people come up and ask for pictures. I like meeting fans. I really like that interaction, but like it's... Like, if I ever go to Disneyland, I'm probably going to have to get security. Because my one friend literally just got, like, swarmed and had a panic attack. And he's 5 times smaller than me.
Oh, my gosh.
And I don't want to be that person
this
that's,
is your
like...
life for the rest of... Like, this is it. Like, right? It's not like you can switch this off. I mean, you can stop creating content, but you're still going to have this, I think, for the rest of your life. Isn't that, like, it's the craziest thing?
It's crazy, but I'm still kind of, like, preparing myself for it. Because I love social media. But I want to eventually get into like mainstream. I want to get into voice acting or stand up or I'm trying the boxing thing. I need to find a way to break into that mainstream. Get my name more out there than TikTok will.
Well, that's a good lead in for our next question because fun fact, Bella's dad was the Gimp in Pulp Fiction.
He was a stuntman in Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs and like a extra and a bunch of other stuff.
That's crazy. How's that like? How's that? Does he like it? Like I don't even know what to ask about that. That's so awesome.
He stopped living in Hollywood a little bit before I was born. He works in like construction now, but he still talks about it. Like he'll sometimes put on his old like appearances in TV shows and stuff. Like, that's me right there. Like he likes it. It's cool. Like, and I think that kind of influenced me to want to try to do that too, because it's really cool. Like people are like Pulp Fiction. I'm like, my dad was in Pulp Fiction. Like no way.
Holy. So I guess like you said you kind of hinted at it. You want to be an actress. You said
I want to try voice acting. I feel like I would do better voice acting than I would in front of a camera until maybe I take acting classes. But voice acting is a little bit more appealing to me. And then
Yeah.
stand up is really something I want to try and get into within the next couple of years.
Gotcha. And then you also said boxing
Yeah.
too, right?
There's no female social media boxers, and I know that if I'm just the first one and I can get in there and like kick some girl's ass, it's gonna be great. It's gonna like I'm gonna launch, but like finding somebody to fight's like the hardest part right now.
Bella's had this idea forever.
For months.
Like
it's been
literally
so
since
long.
they announced like the TikTokers versus YouTubers, Bella was like, I want to do this for females. And like there were some talks of like trying to set it up. Like they even like had a card of people announced.
Yeah.
I saw like some sort of graphic design of a poster, like a potentially what it could look like.
Some of those girls still want to fight, some of them don't anymore, and it's really
Yeah.
it's hard because like I made a video saying like I want to fight somebody. I don't know how to fight, but I want to be a part of this. Like anybody want to fight me? And I made that video knowing that everybody on TikTok wants to fight me and see me get punched in the face. And so I had a lot of girls be like, "Yeah, I'll fight you, Jayus." And I found all the girls in my weight class and I messaged them and I was like, "All right, let's fight. Like you down?" And as soon as like I sent them something, they dropped out either because there wasn't enough money, they don't have the time for it, it's not their vibe, got scared. I don't know.
They don't
what
want
the
to get
fuck
their
happened.
ass kicked.
They don't want to get their ass kicked. Like so many people.
That's what you gotta say.
Hannah
That's what you gotta
Stocking, Illuminati, Sedona, fucking Carson Roney, they all dropped. When
Call
they
them out.
still
Call
when
them
they
out,
still
Bella.
have videos up saying they'll want to fight or that they want to fight me.
Sedona had a video go massively viral. For reference, Sedona is what, a
6
D1
foot D1 athlete at Oregon State. She's 6'7", 200 pounds. So she's 5 inches taller than me, 40 pounds heavier. And I was like, I was down to fight her. I was like, I'm probably gonna die, but it would get views. And so I wanted to, but she's just D1 basketball athlete. She can't drop weight for me, and I can't really gain that much weight. And so it's really
a lot of weight.
and so I want it to still happen, but I just don't think it'll be my first fight. Maybe a couple down the road when I have some experience, then I can maybe take her. But for right now, it didn't work out with Sedona. Even though hers went viral. Hers went super viral.
Theoretically, you can get people lined up and stuff. I mean, we've seen what Jake Paul's doing, Logan Paul. Like they're kind of giving up a little social media to just train and stuff. Like, could you see yourself being a boxer? Then like almost like
100%.
full time, like everything for the next maybe
full time. I can see myself
full time.
I can see myself being a boxer for full time. Maybe a couple years. I live next to a boxing gym. I go every day.
Right.
I haven't sparred a girl yet. We're still working on finding somebody for me to spar, but I've been sparring like the guy trainers there, and I know they're not hitting me that hard, but like it's fun. I really enjoy it. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's way more like mental than I thought it would. Just like controlling your body and like how to move it right.
Oh, mental, even in the moment. I was gonna say, like, I mean, I bet half the battle that Jake, we can take him because he's right now the pinnacle of it all, right? Even just, I was at the Cleveland fight a couple of weeks ago, and just the amount of pressure, like, dude, you don't have a team, right? It's just you and against another person. You're getting your like ass kicked.
You're getting punched in the face. You have to punch them in the face. Focus on your breath, like the footwork, the audience. Like I couldn't. I want to do it, but I can't imagine. Like,
so right now, I guess like going back to like who you want to be, going back to the thesis of the show, right? 25 months, right? You said you're kind of at month 23, right? I don't think you're dropping off here in 2 months. Like you're killing it. But let's expand it, right? I know you said boxing. You can see yourself doing that. You want to go in. So it sounds like you just want to try everything right now, right? And see what sticks. Yeah.
I don't know what I like, which is why I want to try everything. And I love social media. I want to do this for as long as I possibly can.
Yeah.
But the way that I see it, it's like there's like social media people's success, like they're up here. But then like mainstream people, like it's just a different level. And I want to get to that level of success.
So like the A-list type of things.
Right? I want to try that. And I need to try a bunch of different things to figure out what's my way to get there.
Who do you think has successfully done that so far, kind of out of the TikTok world?
Right now, Addison Rae is killing it. Yeah. Like the movie just came out. She just got a second deal with them. And like I think David Dobrik, not TikTok, but he's getting like a Shark Week deal or something. Like they're slowly breaking into that.
I would agree. I mean, I feel like to us that's like such a simple question, but that's interesting to see, right? Because I feel like some people would argue, the reviews of He's All That, the Addison Rae movie, I can't tell if people like it or not like it.
I didn't.
Consensus.
It wasn't my thing, but it did really well, and like I respect her for that. She did a decent job for somebody that hasn't been in a movie like that. Like
for sure.
Bella, you just broke Tejas's heart. He loved that movie to death.
I'm so sorry. I'm not like into rom-coms, but I watched it anyway just because I was like, let's see what this is about. But yeah, yeah.
That's cool. I mean, one thing, like a thesis I have is that like creators, we're no different than the traditional entrepreneurs, traditional actors. Like these lines are going to get blurred so quickly, right? And I like what you said, right? You don't want to be just known as this TikToker, right? Like or TikTok famous. I know you put a lot of stress on that word. You want to be famous, successful, whatever in
I
that
just
world.
want that next level. I'm happy with what I'm at. If I'm still doing this in 5 years, I'd be happy. But I know that I can do more.
It's so interesting to see it because when you have these huge platforms with these huge number of views, like Tejas said, the lines are going to start to get blurred. And like, I honestly think that you can take what you're doing now with like YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, and like be mainstream. Because like Charli D'Amelio, she's not mainstream because she had a Hulu show or because she like
she's
danced on stage with J-Lo. She's mainstream from TikTok. Yeah,
I think it was the Super Bowl ad that really did it for everybody. It was like Charli D'Amelio was in the Super Bowl ad? Like what the fuck? And then
So Bella, you talked about boxing. Like you've been training for boxing. You're potentially involved with this like female boxing event. But as far as like film goes, TV, stand-up, like what steps are you taking to like kind of establish yourself in those fields? Are you really just like working on like growing your social media clout and hoping those like opportunities will come in? Or are you going outward and like pursuing them?
So right now in my head, originally what my plan was I wanted to do this boxing fight. And then once my name is kind of more out there, like Isabella Avila, not OnlyJayus, I wanted to work on the stand-up comedy. I've been trying to write a little bit. I have a connection with the Laugh Factory. They're like, whenever you have some stuff, like we'll have you. So that was kind of my plan there. In terms of like acting, voice acting, I haven't done too much besides the Netflix podcast is my really only experience like recording stuff. I don't know the steps to get there. And so like you said, I kind of am just focusing on social media, trying to grow it and hoping that those offers come in, or at least when I try to go get those offers myself, I have this platform to kind of back me up with it.
And Tejas, I'm curious of your perspective on that. I mean, from my point of view, like that's what like I would probably do, you know, like work on growing the socials and like get the inbound from those, because I think, I mean, like Addison and Charli aren't reaching to get in TV shows.
Exactly, you know, right? I think one thing I always remind Dylan when this whole ice cream shop, like Dylan, who's the he's the old Cold Stone employee that POV content. He's starting his own ice cream store, and I'm helping him with that. I have to constantly remind him how much leverage you all hold, right? By just having an audience. Like so many of these companies want a piece of your audience, right? And so I like that strategy, right? Grow that audience to the point where you're like, okay, I have 20 million followers, right? Like that I engage with me.
It's like
if you have
me in this movie, it's gonna help. Like you're gonna get some press with it, and like if I can work on like different voices for voice acting, like once I can take those classes, I think it'll also help, because it's like I have the following, but I also have the skills to get the job done. That's
cool. I love that goal. Next 5 years, really just trying to ascend to that level. I know. I love how you just gave us kind of that visual picture of like, I'm a TikToker right now. I would be happy being a TikToker in 5 years, but at the end of the day, it's like there's more. There's more I can do. There's more to me.
I want to get to the point where like my social media kind of runs itself like a machine. Like I post TikToks, I post YouTubes, I stream on Twitch, but then I can also go do stand up or have like a animated TV show or something like that. And like, I love that. That'd be awesome if everything was just running smoothly.
So Bella, you're at the 23-month mark. Like, what are some things that like you have the longest running time as a creator of anyone we've had on the show so far, of most people that I know in the game? Like, what are some things that you think you've been doing right that have got you this far? Because you obviously have aspirations to go further, but like, what are you doing in the past that has gone right?
I think originally it was luck. Like I got on the app very early, but then it was the consistency, posting every single day when some people weren't really doing that. And just, I don't know, the quality of my videos. I have no idea what's going on or how I'm here, but like, that's a good question. I need to think about it. I have no idea.
I mean, I wouldn't underplay the consistency part too.
Yeah.
right?
Three
Like,
times a day, pretty much every day for the past 2 years. Yeah.
Oh no! Once a day. I would run out of ideas so quick if I did 3 times
Yeah.
a day. So sometimes I do 2 if we're very lucky 3. But
Yeah.
I've noticed the more I post, the less it does well for me. Like there's some people that can post like 5 times a day and they're all gonna blow up. But if I put all my energy into one video, that video is gonna do really well, rather than trying to make 3 just to get more content.
I love it. Jack, take notes. I'm kidding. I was telling Jack,
They
like,
just
one
take
thing.
notes. You
I
post
know.
like 20 times a day.
I mean, like 20 times a day. Like Joe fucking posts like 5 times a day, maybe more than
Bartolozzi,
that.
yeah.
Like, and all of them do really well. And I'm like, I wish, but like his content's a lot quicker to make. He was even telling me, it's like his content's like super quick to make, and I'm like sitting here like every day like researching like facts.
We have
or something.
officially mentioned Joe Bartolozzi on every episode of this podcast.
I think so.
He's killing it.
He has
I mean,
to do
he's
that.
got a 10 out of 10 process. 10
Do
out
you
of 10.
guys stream or play Splitgate? Because we're probably gonna play next week. Like stream it together. If you guys want to get on,
Just say yeah.
I don't
Yeah, I
stream,
do.
but
Yeah.
Splitgate on PC.
yeah. I mean, you have a green screen and the headphones and the gaming chair. What do you mean you don't stream? What are you doing?
She's like, that's not for streaming. Hey, just will have to hop on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's free
That's
too.
funny.
Splitgate's really fun. It's like Halo, but with Portal
Whoa.
Yeah.
Cool. I love it.
by Jack.
Jack's no video. Great. Well, Bella, where can people find you?
YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitch. I'm on everything. Only
gosh.
JS on everything except for Twitter. I'm not JS for some reason. Working on
I
it.
love it, dude. That's crazy how many platforms you're on. First of all, like that's
You gotta
so much work.
diversify. I can't just be
love
on
it.
TikTok. It's so fragile.
And Bella,
There we go.
where can we find your dog Astro?
Astro the Great Dane, Astro the GD on Instagram and then TikTok.
Thanks for coming on. Like we broke down so many things, and like I learned a lot from you.
This is cool. Yeah.
So this is cool.
If
I
you
love it.
haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe.
Like and
Smash that
subscribe.
notification bell. Anything
Do
else?
all the
There we go.
things.
Share
That's
it.
Share it. Tell people
Embed
about it. Word
it,
of
yeah.
mouth.
Embed it onto your website.
And comment down below what creators you want to see in the future.
Great. All right. Peace.